and welcome to today's show. My name is Terence, and this is LATOKEN VCTV. Thank you for making time. With us today, we have an interesting discussion, actually. It's more of an AMA, so you can get involved. All the links are below. Look carefully, join us, bookmark us, and just put your questions on all the channels that you're watching us from at the moment. You will have that ability. So make use of that during this show. Again, before we start, a little housekeeping, I suppose. It's important at this point. So we have shows all day long. Do check our calendars, bookmark the ones that are relevant to you, and watch us from wherever and whichever channels you prefer. Again, before we start, I would like to bring about today's AMA session. Now, before we dive into the show, please remember, this is in no way any financial advice or not something that you should take lightly. Again, do look at all the resources and make your own judgments when you are looking at each and every one of our projects. So without further ado, again, I would like to introduce two gentlemen that we have today. We have Chai Shepherd and Ron. Now, they are the founding members from the team Phaeton. So let's have them talk about the project, shall we? Guys, off to you. Ron, perhaps you can start a little bit of an introduction to the project and what's it all about.
Okay, thanks, Terence. Yes, Phaeton as a company has been going since 2017. Original founders is Chai and Damien Robson. I joined them last year, September. I had developed an app for affordable housing and was using, obviously, Chai and Damien to deliver that project. But as we progressed, we saw there was a good marry, and we decided to merge the two entities. I was allocated the task of being the CEO and driving the business in a potentially different format. So without going to great detail, the core values that I brought to the table was knowing about blockchain and being an architect and being a bit of a social entrepreneur. I felt that blockchain should be used more for social impact as opposed to a centralized system. It should be community driven. So all projects that we take on has a social impact. For example, projects that we have, we've got a carbon credit exchange. We're applying blockchain to many other sectors like affordable housing, into data centers. And all these are driven by renewable energy, funny enough, because we know there's a massive problem with the current systems out there burning so much of fossil fuels, and everything that we do has to have an underlying of social impact. So we can all talk about, in theory, but one of the key things that we've come as far as Phaeton is concerned, we're actually doing stuff that is real. For example, we're actually building a data center, a small one, a modular type system driven purely by renewable energy, right? And then, for example, we've applied for a smarter housing where it is driven again by renewable energy, and we have a staking model that goes with it. So one of the things we have learned is that what we've picked up, the current platforms out there are predominantly in the DeFi space, all about finance. And if you can see people, they get very confused when you talk to them about blockchain, they think it's Bitcoin. I'm speaking about my generation, of course. And then we're saying, well, it's not really. We try and explain to them, they look confused. So that's why we've taken the direction to say, how can we apply blockchain to everybody's or every person's daily life? That's, for example, if it's data centers, you're using data all the time. We're using, for example, our housing. We're using the staking model. We've got the IoTs in there, and similarly, we're using artificial intelligence, and also through that we believe in creating smarter communities, which we're really going to play. And one further field or more recent event is that we going into decentralized solar plants. And the idea behind that is to drive our data centers and create an energy system that is not purely in dealing with solar farms itself. It's incorporating many elements to that. We're looking at hydrogen energy, linking it as a backup system. We're using agrivoltaics because it's best use of land. So yeah, we're thinking outside the box and not just saying blockchain is about somewhere out there. Yeah. So hopefully that will give you an overview.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to kind of look at the project. And again, it looks like it's not just a project on its own, it's a whole big ecosystem. And I think, Shai, perhaps you can tell us more about the technology and sort of that surrounding concept on how things are going about at the moment.
Look, I've been developing this technology with myself and my team for about the last 3.5 years, and I've been fortunate enough to have Ron come on board the last 12 months, and the company has really projected quite dramatically since Ron coming on board. But yeah, like we're utilising the technology in the smarter housing. I'm building Phaeton identity at the moment, where we can validate home ownership. We can have a non-fungible token asset ID the house and validate home ownership as soon as you walk through the front door, as well as AI interaction with the particular home owner. The staking protocol inside the home, the Artemis node, there's a white papers on our website. It's a really good read. I suggest everyone have a bit, download and have a good read. But we are currently building the Artemis node, and hopefully I'm hoping to have something released over the next couple of months. There's a lot of work and research that we've done behind the scenes, but the Artemis node pretty much controls your whole house. So you'll be able to store private data within your own home. You'll be working with IoT products, and we do have a few partners in the background, which I won't mention, but it will be working with IoT and AI and Phaeton identity. So it's a really unique product there. The data center is a big one for us. So Phaeton is more focused around the infrastructural side to support not just our only blockchain, but all blockchains. So we can actually claim that we are 100% green. We do not require, we're reducing carbon emissions, obviously, and our data centers is 100% green. So the goal and the model for us is to have more data centers deployed globally, and to take on Google, essentially, at the end of the day. So that's the direction of the company.
And then, of course, in today's world, when the whole climate change and climate issues are constantly being highlighted, I think you have a project and you have an idea, not only an idea, but a technology and a direction that tackles that. And that makes you different, so to speak. But again, as a project itself, perhaps you can break it down for us in terms of your offerings to institutional and retail, let's say, investors looking at you at the moment. Talk a little bit about your services and your offerings.
You want to go wrong?
You're very good at that part.
Look, I built the blockchain. Like a lot of other blockchains out there, just focusing on how many DApp applications they can have on their network. No, we never wanted that. We want to build the technology itself can be used in so many formats, so many different industries, and it's designed for businesses to be able to adopt. We want small to medium to large organizations to be able to utilize our sidechain technology and secure data and information in a decentralized environment over a cloud-based infrastructure. So that's what the technology that we built over the last 3.5 years is designed for. Like we have side chains that we are working with. We've got NFT, smart contract standards. We've gone through smart contract audits at the moment. So there's a lot of the legal side, and then obviously the technology has been built. So we are listed or in IEO with LATOKEN and a couple other exchanges, but we're ahead of Cardano and a few others out there. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's again something to highlight as well. And for our viewers at the moment who are listening and watching us from whichever platforms that you choose, remember the IEO is running at the moment, and that's going to be running for another 28 days, if I'm not mistaken. So hurry on, get to our page, the websites and the links. Everything's below. Participate, look into the technology, have a read of the white paper, and support the ecosystem. Having said that, Ron,
Yeah,
perhaps you can give us a little bit of the real world use cases. What do you currently have and what do you see?
sure. Terence, yes, the when you say use cases,
Mhm.
I did mention earlier about our data centers, smarter housing, smarter communities, and solar farms. So if I start with solar farms, we're working on smaller 1 megawatt solar farms on 1 hectare of land, and these are supporting regional areas.
Mm.
We've to date we actually purchasing a piece of land. We're building not only the solar farm, we're creating a smarter community with what we call an eco village. So that will be powered by the solar. And similarly, because it's in a peri-urban area, we're actually creating a bit of agrivoltaics. So, so the community becomes a self-sustaining community, right? And it's all
Mm.
powered by the blockchain. Anything the data is collected, for example, even as a community, it's communication. Through the way we've structured it, it's about collectively making decisions how to run the community. It's got IoT in terms of security. It recognizes people coming into the community. It can create functions for that community. So in a way, it's a smarter. We're creating those smarter communities, and I think that's where technology can help. Using the data center, and similarly using nodes within each of those houses, assists them financially as well. If they're carrying our Phaeton tokens, they can become validators. And as Chai said, is try and get as many nodes out there and be decentralized as possible, so it
Mm.
becomes a stronger blockchain. So the technology, we can see that being applied, and it is the future. Um, I'm of a vintage age, you can see, and all I've done is just come into the group and saying, well, you know, if we look at it, I've seen so many things that I've done in the past as a developer. I'm similarly a real estate developer, and I've said, where can blockchain be applied? How can it improve the systems? And there's so many more ideas that are coming out day to day as we talk with this technology. And end of the day, it's about improving people's lives. Um, so yeah, I think that's the closest use case I can talk about. Besides, as I said, I mentioned the data centers. We're actually building one at the moment.
Mm. Yeah, thanks, Ron. And Chai, over to you with this one. Talk to us about the blockchain. What makes you different? And you do have patents on it, correct?
Yeah, we're working through that at the moment. So I guess, yeah, we are a delegated proof of stake, and delegated Byzantine fault tolerance. So we are a little bit different. We're utilizing Blake 3 as our main hashing algorithm as well for obviously speed. But we do have smart contract side chains ready to be deployed. That should be released towards the end of next month or mid next month. I should have that ready. A lot of our technical documents are very close to being released, so people will be able to slowly see where we're up to, what we're doing, who our partners are. We are working with ex-politicians with our carbon credit exchange, which is quite a unique product as well. So yeah, there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and a lot of other products that we are building internally and also externally for clients.
Mm. Right. Thanks for that. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know more about the project, remember it's latoken.com or Phaeton.io. That's PHAETON.io. So again, let's just get back to this one, I suppose. When you talk about your future investments, I mean, we've covered a little bit on the current investments. You're talking about buying solar power plants. You're talking about new hydrogen gas powered facilities. When it comes to the IEO, talk to us a little bit about your future plans after that. Give us a schedule, give us a timeline. What's going on? Perhaps, Ron, you can take us through
Yeah.
this one.
Okay, so part of this IEO is we look at it as the seeding of these projects. The key thing is to actually prove these cases up, right? We're not going out there talking about theory. We have a succinct model in rolling out our programs. We're not looking for huge amount of capital, but good capital. So be cautious. We spend it wisely, but to prove our products, all right. And we're doing that initially in Australia as the springboard. Once it's tested and proved, then we obviously move international because that's a far better strategy. It is quite strange, since we've been recognized in the States as well, that we've been approached by a number of entities that actually want to list us on the public exchange. There's obviously the Australian Stock Exchange, Toronto Stock Exchange. We've been approached there, and similarly on NASDAQ. So we're looking at more closely that because NASDAQ obviously is about technology. It's not an overnight thing. It's about a process, and it is a journey to reach that goal. But we do have those plans in play because, as I said, the way we want to build this business is not purely about an overnight success. It's about organic growth, you may put it that way, that is sustainable. Because I would like to see this company being here for the next 30, 40 years or more. That's bringing value to our shareholders and token holders. But I think where we've gone to, and already we've put those things into play. Our board, we've got independent directors, but we have a very strong corporate governance, and that's key to any successful company. We have strict regulations in terms of how us as directors we react. We have a very simple philosophy that end of the day we represent shareholders. It's not about us individually. It is about who's supporting us. And if you look at what blockchain is about, it's about community. And that's why we set this direction. So that's the long-term goal. But the important thing, it has to have social impact. Because if you look at the next generation of the economy, it's not the baby boomers, which I belong to. It's about the millennials. It's about the next generation. They're going to drive this economy. And if we can set the right pace and the right direction and improve their lifestyles and using this blockchain technology, I think it sets a better path for them.
And I think it's great that the company is positioned in a way that it still carries the traditional discipline of the current companies that you have out there. And it has the technology of those top elites in the crypto industry as well. So marrying both together, I think it's definitely something for all of you listening in and watching us now to keenly look at, deep dive into, and learn about that as well. And Chai, I think the next one for you, talk to us about some of the early clients maybe, or ideally, who would you want to have as clients moving forward?
I guess any business really that wants to securitize data information, we're happy to talk to large organizations like BHP, Rio Tinto. We're happy to talk to banks. So anyone that really wants to store data and information utilizing our data center are people that we really want to talk to. We're also interested in mums and dads, personalized data. That is a big thing. So having one of our Artemis nodes and storing data or secure data on our blockchain is something that's unique. So yeah, look, for us, like I said before, Terence, we are building infrastructure to support not just our own blockchain, but other blockchains as well. So our Helios deployer is almost ready. That will be ready in the next 3 weeks. Other blockchains will be able to come onto our platform in the near future and utilize our data centers, which is 100% green and off the grid. So, we're working towards reducing carbon emissions, and that's a huge point of difference for us compared to anyone else in the market. Like we know that Bitcoin uses a lot of power, same with Ethereum, and that. So we can claim that we're 100% green. We're the only. We're working towards that sort of pathway as a company. Yeah.
If I might just add in there, Terence, one
Yeah.
of the things that we've also set out is that Phaeton is not about being exclusive, right? We're inclusive. So what does it mean? So what we've done too, we've set aside a certain amount of our funds for an incubation. It's an incubation fund. So anybody that has a great idea that needs mentoring in trying to get your project off the ground using blockchain, if it has a social impact, we're more than willing to listen and see and guide those entities, because they could be game changers. It's like there's so many creative minds out there. And I think what Phaeton is bringing is that we would be not saying, okay, it's a great idea, but how can it be applied to everybody's daily lives? So that's the guidance where it comes from. We have 2 senior board members in our 60s, and that, with 40 years each business experience. So that's a very important part of that mentoring. And we're happy to give back our knowledge, experience, and guidance.
And that's brilliant. That's definitely a great way to look at things as well. And for all of you who wants to get involved, feel that inclusiveness, again, it's simple for you to do so at the moment. Just log on to latoken.com. It's as simple as that. Go to the app, download it in your App Store, Google Play Store, sign up. The IEO is there. Click on it, contribute. Look at all the information that we have there. All the links to the show is below as well. So be sure to, again, get involved and get into the ecosystem. Yeah. So, guys, when it comes to following up or looking at the project and the developments and where you guys are moving, reaching out to you, what's the best way to do so? Perhaps how do you want people to kind of reach out to you, and what are you looking for again?
Yeah, look, we've got a number of social channels. I'm pretty active on social media, especially with our Facebook and Telegram channels. So there's a number of moderators there and obviously community members that are very passionate about our project. They've been with myself from the start. So, just reach out, join our social channels and have a chat and, ask the right questions and learn a bit more about where we're going, what we're doing, and how we're really, having a change in the world, so.
Yeah, and about that as well, would you want to include some of perhaps key events coming up or some key dates that everyone should be looking out for?
Yeah, we mentioned about our data center. So that's been constructed. We will be showcasing that probably next month, barring COVID restrictions within Australia, because the actual data center is built in New South Wales, but we'll be launching it in Western Australia, where we're based. And given if COVID and then our border restrictions, we'll be doing a roadshow with that. And that's to display how these data centers could work, right? Other than that, we just will keep the community informed of our progress of the projects as we roll out. That will be, as Chai said, on social media. Very hard to keep on informing each one individually. Those who are interested, we have the social media platforms. Become involved, register as a member, and you'll be updated consistently. Chai's a real social media guru. He loves communicating with people. So he not only posts one little incident, but probably a few a day. So I can't keep up with it.
I might be quick report, but just going back to the data center, Terence, like it's not just a normal data center. We've actually stripped the bare bones of the computer apart. We've taken away a lot of the copper. and replacing it with fiber optics, how we're powering the data centers. Obviously, we're using, like, as Ron mentioned, we're using solar, hydrogen gas, and obviously vanadium batteries. So we've got a lot of key partners building this particular project, and Google and IBM and a lot of the others out there should really have a look at what we're doing and how far we've come. So like the data centers, the data industry is quite a big industry. The data industry doubles every 4 years, and people need to understand that they think Bitcoin uses a lot of power, but data centers itself uses more power than what Bitcoin does by a huge amount. 50% of the world's energy is consuming in hosting data centers, powering data centers. So this is why we've gone down this path in producing our own data centers and showing the world, what we are about, what we're doing, and utilizing our blockchain to power this as well.
And then that improvement of use of this blockchain technology essentially would then propel enterprises and also business owners forward by the looks of it. And it's done in a very, let's say, environmentally friendly approach. And that's something that I think most of us out there want and need at the moment. So again, for all our viewers out there currently watching the show, and again, listening to us from your devices, take time after the show, deep dive into the project, get on LATOKEN.com, learn more, participate, and get involved, I suppose. And guys, we're almost at the tail end of the show. Is there anything else that you would like to bring up at this moment?
No,
Is there
I'm
anything
just
that you want to talk to our viewers and tell them?
I'm as an older guy, I'm just so excited. I'm rejuvenated. I've become another 20 years younger. I've got to keep up with these guys. So I'm enjoying the journey, and and I'm looking forward for the next 20 years if I survive.
No, you've been around for a while, Ron. A lot for myself. I've been learning a lot through Ron and Georgia and a few other team members as well. So we do have a young team, but we also need that the older generation to guide us and mentor us and take Phaeton to the next level. So it's been really good. We've propelled it the last 12 months. We've really propelled our business from a small technology company to a multi-million-dollar, and hopefully with the NASDAQ listing that's coming up, we're going to be a billion-dollar company in the near future.
There. And perhaps, Chai, you can take us to one more technical question, I suppose. I think lots of people want to know a little bit more about tokenomics and how you are approaching it from your end as well. Talk to us about that plan, the burning of tokens, or perhaps the direction of that. Could you summarize that for our viewers today?
Yeah, sure. So the fee structure is a fairly low fee structure. So we burn all the fees. So we counteract the fee structure with the reward mechanism that we've set in place. So we understand how obviously fiat currency works, and the maths that we've done behind it and with our team really complements how the token economics is going to be over time. So the fee structures are burnt, which reduces the total supply, obviously, but also the reward mechanism that we put in place increases the supply. So it balances each other out. Our fee structure is a dynamic fee structure. It's really, really low. So you're not paying $100 or $200 to transact. It's nothing. We can transact in milliseconds. So our blockchain is fast, it's secure, and we're working on having more nodes to market than what Bitcoin has currently got at the moment. So.
Bigger blocks, faster time, high security. This is a project that is going to be listed on NASDAQ sometime soon in the near future. Get involved, learn more, look, and deep dive into their projects. Go to LATOKEN.com. And again, guys, before we end the show, is there anything else that you want to say to our viewers watching you today? Any advice, any words to them?
Jump on our website, download our white papers, ask questions on social media, guys. I'm pretty active, and a lot of guys know myself personally and know what I'm doing. So just ask questions and learn come on the journey with us. That's all I ask. So,
Yeah, and as Chai said, you will want a lot more information. All our white papers are open. We're very open in discussing our projects. Nothing to hide. We're transparent. So it's all laid up there. Yep.
Brilliant. And with that, thank you, Ron. Thank you, Chai. That's our AMA session today. I hope you all enjoyed it. Again, all the show notes are below. All the links are below. If you've missed any part of the show, you can always go back, replay it, click on the links, and get involved again. So that's latoken.com. The IEO is going now. Participate, and you will, let's say, get to know more.
Yeah. Thanks, Terence. And thanks to all the listeners out there. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you all. And bye-bye.
Bye.
but